studies on the social behavioral issues among children in Albertina Governorate during 2020-2021. Over to you.
Hello, teacher. Participate, Rahma, but wait a minute, okay?
Ma'am, Deepa ma'am, good evening. I'm Kantimati here.
Yes, ma'am.
When can I start my presentation, ma'am?
Ma'am, I will call your name, ma'am. Now,
Okay.
Ma is going to present.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. I'll maybe if it is I'm the next presenter, it will be comfortable, ma'am.
I shall do it, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, Rahma, over to you.
Okay, miss. We will share now. Just wait a minute.
Is my voice clear? Okay.
Yes, Rahma.
I will start. Hello, everyone. My name is Rahma Fahd Al-Ma'mari, and it's really a great honor for me to share with you our research paper, which is about smart app to overcome the effect of internet technology and the social behavior issue among children in Al-Batina Governorate. This is our contents, which we will discuss today. Let's just start with the first one, which is abstract. Internet is unlimited opportunity. It has so many advantages, such as we can easily find and learn whatever we want. And also we can communicate with each other around the world. So we can share our knowledge between others, with others, I mean. In a simple word, internet makes everything easier than what it should be. However, internet has a negative side also. And in our research paper, we are trying to study one of these negative things, which is how the internet can affect the social behavior on children, and what is the issues and challenges that exist, and what is the solution for it. Let's talk about our objective. Actually, we have so many objectives, but I will tell you three of them just to make it more faster. The first one, to analyze the access to usage of internet by children below 10 years. Second, to analyze different social behavior problem that exists in children who use the internet technology. The third one, to analyze whether the parents are aware of the different threats that their children are exposed to when using internet, and also to propose a prototype smart application that would monitor the children who are under 10 years. And now let's talk about our lecturer review. Actually, we prepared so many lecture review, but I will discuss just one of them, which is problematic internet use and mental health among British children and adults, which is done by Ayman Al-Asim, Muthanna Samara, and Philip. In their research, they are trying to find how the internet will affect the behavior of children in a specific age, and they use a questionnaire and historical data to conduct their research, and also they use case study. And at the end of their research, they found that 83% of children whose age between 12 and 15 years old are having their own phone, mobile phone, and 61% of them, they are using their mobile phone for more than 21 hours per week. And this increases the risk of having bad effect in their social behavior, which they can get through the internet by playing games, watching movies, and such things like this. And now let's talk about our research methodology. Actually, we done our research in two phases. In the first phase, we was conducting a survey, and after analyzing the survey, we come with come up with a smart application. This is our questionnaire question, and here we will discuss about our proposed research. What is the level of alter in our application? It has 4 levels actually. At the first level, when the children try to use their phone for more than 2 hours, for example, the screen alert will be displayed, and so the children will not be able to use their phone. After a while, the phone will return to his normal mode, and if the children try again to use it to play or watching movie, the screen out will display again. And if this repeat for 3 times, the parent will receive a notification that your children are using phone too much. And if they do not do anything, at the 4th alert, auto children lock will be enabled, and this auto children lock will know if the children keep pressing in the phone, he will understand that the children under pressure, so the phone will be locked for few hours, like 3 or 4 hours, so the children can relax at this time. This is our summary and conclusion. The internet affects children's social behavior in a major and clear way. And in our recommendation, we recommend the parents should not give their children under 12 years old a mobile phone. And if they want to use the mobile phone for studying or doing their homework, like what happened during COVID-19, they can give them for 1 or 2 hours, and they have to stay with them. And also the parents should encourage their children to go out, play with other children, so they will avoid using phone for a long time. This is our reference. If you have any question, or if you want to know more about our research, you can go through it. If you have any question, I will be happy to hear it and listen and clarify you.
Thank you, Rahma, for the excellent presentation. I have 2 queries. One is, like, you were telling that the children less than 12 years should not be exposed to the mobile. But now being a pandemic situation, the parents are left with no other choice than giving a mobile to them. And do you have any suggestions on how to work on online education for those students who are under 12?
Yes, for that, I recommend the parents to stay with their children while they're studying, and give them a specific time, like 1 hour, 2 hours. And if their parents are busy with something, they can put their older brother with them, or even they can buy to them, like not mobile phone, like iPad, and they can limit the access in the iPad, like they can delete the YouTube, and they can specify the games they can use and play, so their use will decrease.
Thank you so much, Rahma, for the excellent research and the findings that you have presented. Thank you so much. I thank the team also for presenting their research findings. Thank you. Next, I call upon M. Gandhimati to discuss on, does the physical classroom climate impact the mathematical performance of high school students? Over to you.
Yeah, it has to be noted, ma'am, because when I get my certificate, it should be S. Kantimati. Very happy evening to all the members of the conference. My special thanks to Deepa ma'am and team for allowing me to present online in spite of the schedule given to me in offline. And it's a great privilege for me to present my topic, does the physical classroom climate impact the mathematical performance of high school students? Actually, let me first introduce myself. I'm Mrs. Kantimati, PhD scholar,
Ma'am, 1 minute.
Does the physical classroom impact the mathematical performance of high school students? Yes, ma'am.
For a want of time, I request all the presenters to cut short their presentation and complete the presentation within 5 minutes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Actually, I'm Mrs. Kantimati doing my research. I'm a research scholar in the Department of Education under the able guidance of Dr. William Dharmaraja, sir. And I'm really very pleased to be present my topic. Actually, my thesis topic is rethinking classroom climate. What is classroom climate? It plays a great role for the educators as well as the instructors and students. And it's a combination of infrastructures, innovative techniques, and active-based learning. It is also an array of arrangements of furniture and refurbished room. And according to the literature review, we found that student motivation and learning plays an important role. And many research studies also related to this issue suggested that students learn better when they perceive their classroom environment positively. And the classroom environment has a positive impact on students' academic achievement as by profession of physical activities as such. And next. And the statement of the problem and the objective is that the purpose of the statement, it explains the objective and does the physical classroom impact the mathematical performance of high school students. Definitely it has an impact. And the hypothesis of the study is there is no distinctive difference between the scholastic achievement of control and experimental group on pre-test. There is no distinctive difference between the scholastic achievement of control and experimental groups on the post-test. The methodology what we adopted is that cluster sampling with 40 students of grade 10 were sampled from Bharat Montessori School, Ilanji, and the students were divided into two groups as control and experimental groups. And we found that there was a rather great transformation between the pre-test and post-test, and that will be explained now. Two different classroom for the post-test has been taken. Experimental group classroom with all the facilities like LCD projectors, spacious classroom, good ventilation, and the journals, the magazines, the books required, all were posted there. And a 4-week study was conducted, wherein 3 mathematical topics are also conducted, where we couldn't find in the as per the analysis in table 1, the pre-test did not have any significant difference between, if you could see the mean score also, it is 67 and 62, but the table 2 tells us that after the experimental group has been given a lot of facilities and the control group is as traditional group, we found that a lot of difference between the mean square, like 96.3 and 72.6 shows that there is a significant difference between the control group and the experimental group after the post-test. The result says that the experimental group showed better performance than control, and a well-managed classroom has got an optimistic result on students' academic achievement. The evidence was thus proved through the pre-test and the post-test. Students, as I already said, that 2 physical classrooms were set and a 4-week test was planned, and typical physical classroom environment for experimental group and traditional classroom for the control group for post-test was planned. And I found that the students were very happy with the experimental students, were very happy to have all facilities. And that is the reason the t-value was 1.01, which is non-distinctive in table 1, and the achievement remained the same in pre-test. Whereas in table 2, the t-value was 8.59, which is distinctive, and the achievement in post-test is spurned. Like, it was really very nice to see the changes, which made us feel that the management of any school, like, have to provide such facilities for the students, to provide all basic facilities, like not a chalk and talk method is required at present, because even the parents are able to, are affordable enough to provide all facilities at home. The same atmosphere, if it is provided in the school also, the students could perform in a better way. And so convincing classroom is an instrumental drive for the students. So what we recommend is that almost all managements should have a very good resource classroom should be the primary criteria. The students should be entwined with the environment, and the physical classroom should be easily converted. It should be in the form of a demo or activity room, a big room, and basic amenities must be provided by the management. Such a physical classroom definitely will elevate the achievement of the students. And this is what is a study, and it is an empirical study which showed us a very good result. And since my topic is rethinking classroom climate in my thesis, a part of it as a physical classroom climate has been taken in this study. And this physical classroom climate has given a very good view that a proper presentation, proper environment should be provided. And also we find that in Tamil Nadu, especially in Tamil Nadu, after the induction, this Bharat Montessori Metric High Secondary School was at least one of the top schools in Tamil Nadu, where many a times we have got state ranks in academics, as well as it worked for the holistic development of the students. But after the induction of the uniform syllabus, as well as the NEET entrance, the metric lost the charm. The matriculation syllabus lost the charm. It was banned by the government, and Tamil Nadu government uniform syllabus was being posed to the metric schools also, wherein the CBSE school gained the charm, and all the parents wanted and thought that the CBSE schools will be the boon. That is what is going on now at present. So that made me to think that what could be done better for this metric schools, and that is why I have taken up this study to develop the matriculation schools, because the government has revived the syllabus also now at present, and that would help. So a physical classroom has been set up in a better way for the children in order to make comfortable environment for the students. So any questions, ma'am, Deepa ma'am, you can just ask me. Like this study made me, it was so interesting that it could definitely develop the children of our school and also the students of other schools in the recommendation what we have suggested.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Among many subjects,
Yeah.
what made you to choose particularly on math?
Yeah, that's a good question, ma'am. Mathematics, usually children find mathematics as a difficult subject. I don't know, like why. It depends on the teachers also. When they like the teacher, they like the subject. Okay, that is also one of the aspects I can tell. But mathematics, since children feel that it is very difficult, scoring mathematics and the system which is involved in the matriculation also, you know, there is no change in number of in the question paper also. Children start memorizing the answers also in mathematics. Such things happen. Really. So we thought maybe this atmosphere with different level of teachers also would help the children, and the environment help the children even to take up any sort of question papers. That's the reason we took mathematics, since it's a difficult subject for all. How could it help? Because English or science or social science, they find it very interesting to learn by themselves, but mathematics is a subject where they need assistance to understand the concept. That's the reason I chose mathematics.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Excuse me.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Yeah, this is Tamarai.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Actually, I'm a mathematician.
Oh,
I just
fine.
want to share my opinion.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, mathematics is not a difficult subject.
Yeah, it's not a difficult subject. But
how the way we teach, how the way we
that's
study,
true, ma'am.
that is very important. And by the way, I'm choosing my subject because of the easiness. You know, the understanding subject. I hate memorizing the concept.
But the concept, that's
Yeah,
true.
if I understand anything, I can be able to do anything. That's why I chose the subject when I was young in the college.
That
time.
depends, like very true, ma'am. Mathematics is a subject where you
No,
can
the problem
score
is the teaching system. We have to
the
change.
methodology,
Teaching system has to be changed.
the question, teaching system and the preparation of the question paper also needs a revision, ma'am.
Preparation of question paper for CBSE or metric, I know we have a lot of
difference,
syllabuses. Yeah, that's a syllabus, depends on the syllabus. We need to stick with that. But my opinion, according to the all of the whole world thinking about mathematics, it's a difficult subject. No, it is a wrong assumption.
It's a wrong assumption, maybe. It's not for all.
Yeah, it's a wrong assumption. Really, we need to think about this. how to teach maths
But
in a simple way.
maths is the simple subject.
Yes,
simplest of all.
subject.
Yeah, that is true, ma'am. That is true.
Yeah.
But the kid's mind also has to be developed in that way. And parents also have to support the kids. Instead of sending them for tuitions, if the child work out the problem by herself or himself, definitely the child will fare better. That is what is my view, ma'am. That's why I chose mathematics.
It's okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And I'm going to present my paper after you.
Okay. Nice listening.
Ma'am, Deepa ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
May I start?
You are Sugashini, ma'am?
No, Dr. Tamarai.
Tamarai.
Ma'am, okay, ma'am, you can start.
Yes, okay.
Deepa, ma'am.
Everyone, good evening to everyone. Can you see the slides? It's clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We can, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Today I'm going to present the paper. It is about a study on distance parameters of middle graph. Actually, the middle graph, it's recently, the study about the graph, it's recently developed. And here I'm going to talk about some special graphs and some parameters of distance. And we all are familiar with shortest path problem. It is the problem of finding a path between two vertices in a graph. And there are some algorithms available to find the shortest path, like Dijkstra, Floyd-Warshall. It's applied in many fields like web mapping, networking, operation research, facility layout. Recently, they applied in robotics and transportation. So normally the graph, it is defined like, we have a graph, vertices and edges. And by the way, before I just want to introduce my, I want to thank my colleague, Dr. Vaidyanathan and Dr. Prasanna Ranjit. And let me start the definition. So shortest path, it's already, I explained, it is a length of the shortest path between two vertices in the graph. And eccentricity, it is defined like maximum of the distance between one vertex to the another, all vertices of the graph. And radius, it's defined minimum eccentricity vertex, the number we call the radius of the graph. And the diameter, it is again the number which is maximum eccentricity of the graph. And the center, it is set of all vertices having minimum eccentricity. And then I want to define line graph. It is a graph which is obtained from the graph G. Actually, the vertex set is the edge set of the original graph G. And here, the vertex join, they are adjacent. It depends on the corresponding graph, they are adjacent. So for example, in any two edges are adjacent in the original graph, then that vertex to be connected in the line graph. And the middle graph, it is combined graph of line graph and the original graph. So the vertex set, it is a union of the vertex set of the original graph and the edge set of the original graph. And the edge set of the middle graph, it depends on the line graph. It is the line graph, it is induced in the original graph. See, for example, I want to explain with the graph. So this is the original graph. Here I have 5 vertices and 6 edges. And this one, it is a line graph I define. So 6 edges, we have 6 vertices. And in the graph, if I consider edges here, this edge is adjacent with other, 4 edges. So I have to connect with another 4. See, E2, E3, E5, and E6 are connected in the line graph. And the middle graph, it is defined like all the, edges will be divided into 2 parts by the vertex. So the edge is considered as a vertex in the middle graph. And that are, if the edges are adjacent, then we need to draw extra line, I mean the new line in the graph. So this gives the middle graph. And my concept, it is depends on the distance graph, and the important parameters are radius, diameter, and center. So here I'm defining the middle graph, distance of the middle graph, shortest distance, and it is denoted MD of U comma V. And the eccentricity I define like middle graph of eccentricity of that particular vertex is maximum of the middle graph of the shortest distance between one vertex to other vertices in the graph. Then radius of the middle graph, it is defined as the minimum eccentricity in the middle graph of one vertex. And diameter, it is defined as the maximum, maximum the number. I'm talking about the number. Radius, it is called the number. So, and the center, of course, it is similar like the number in a set of all vertices having minimum eccentricity. It is the center. And we studied about, some special graphs like path graph, then cycle graph, then star graph and complete graph, and we obtained some results. And here I mentioned the path graph P6. It has 6 vertices and edges, 5 edges, and the middle graph will be like this. And we obtained the result. The radius of the middle graph of the path graph is a ceiling function of n/2 for all n greater than or equal to 3. Then diameter of the middle graph of the path graph will be n only when n greater than or equal to 3. Then the cardinality of the path graph, when n is odd, only 3 vertices. And when the cardinality of the center graph of the path graph will be 1 when n is even. And cycle graph for, here I'm giving example for C5, and this is the middle graph of C5, and we obtain the results. So ceiling function of n plus 1/2 for n greater than or equal to 3, and floor function, this is for radius of middle graph of the cycle graph with n greater than or equal to 3. And star graph, we define, it is like one vertex adjacent to other vertices. It is a star graph. And the middle graph here I'm representing because all the edges will be divided into 2 parts and it is connected. And for this star graph, the induced subgraph, it is a complete graph. And here the positive integer n greater than or equal to 2, then the radius of the middle graph of a star graph will be 2 and diameter will be 3. The center will be n plus 1. This is generalized. And then we talk about complete graph. I'm giving example for K5. K5 means 5 vertex with, all the vertices are adjacent. And this is the middle graph of complete graph. So a little bit difficult to understand. Then the radius of the complete graph, middle graph of the complete graph, and the diameter of the complete graph of the middle graph are always 2. Because why? Because it is equal, the distance between any vertex to another vertex, it is always 2. So it is a self-centered graph. So that's it for the shortest path we have discussed in this paper. Maybe in future, I want to study about the longest distance between the 2 vertices in the graph. These are the references. And thank you for giving me.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. It was a very good presentation, like the previous madam was telling that for mathematics, she is trying to understand. And there is a paper which talks about the middle path in the graph, right?
Yeah.
We wish you all the very best. Though we are not competent enough to raise any question, is it a theorem that you are trying to develop new, ma'am?
Yeah, all are theorem, ma'am. All are theorem. I didn't give the proof, only I'm giving result here. If you want, I will explain the proof. Because of the time limit, I know.
Yeah. It was very nice, probably like what Gandhimati madam has told. If mathematics are like you, probably people will start loving mathematics.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for all. Thank you.
May I now request Mr. Ebenezer Annadas and Dr. K. Abiraj to present their paper on cultural impact of social media among students of Chennai.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone presented here. I'm Ebenezer Anadas. Here with me, Dr. K. Ebiraj also. We are presenting the paper on cultural impact of social media among the students of Chennai. Of course, you all agree, maybe this is not only for the Chennai students, worldwide, how social media has been engaged with the people's mind and time. So our presentation is going to be on this topic. Let me start with the introduction. Nowadays, the impact of social media changes the behavior of the youths, and there exists a relationship between the society and media. Consequently, messages can reach public and targeted groups in real time, and they can generate changes and tendencies. The technology improvement leads to young generation growing up having mass contact with different kinds of social media. We all know that different social media nowadays, like Facebook, WhatsApp, and many more are there. The power of social media on the socio-cultural values of university students has been conceived as one of the present-day research issues, agitating the minds of media researchers around the world. This could be because of most of the students are consumed by social media to the point that most of the things they do utter or think turn around the social media action inside it. Are there ways? So these are all the questions we generated to do this research. Do undergraduate students of Chennai use social media? And does social media influence in any way their social relationship? And do use of social media affects their study culture? And do social media influence socio-cultural values? With these questions, we have made some analysis, and I request Dr. Ebiraj to take over and explain the further paper.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks for the privilege. Considering the time, I'm directly going for the methodology. One literature I want to quote here, like Ellison 2007, he said that many studies believe college age of young adults are using social networking sites, and this impact their academic life, especially though there is a lot of social media platforms like Instagram, MySpace, and a lot of stuffs are there. Now also Facebook playing a vital role, and it is the highest number of people who access it. So for this, we had a few hypothetical questions that what my co-author has presented. With that, we have adapted the survey methodology with 150 sample size. And we have used a 5-point Likert scale method to analyze this questionnaire. So we have asked a few questions. I presented 2 tables before you. We have asked one question, that is whether social media is a main space of freedom of expression. So out of all, like 69.3% of students says that social media is main freedom of expression. To quote an example for this, that when Jallikattu issue in Tamil Nadu were rose up, only because of social media, people, they were communicated, accessed through social media and physically connected in some places, and they have even they have changed the law. So their voice of opinion, and we know that lot of issues going in and around. Many queries, many questions are kept through social media, and I can quote, in Tamil Nadu government, like our chief minister is very active in social media. He address an issue which is raised in social media. He call people for his place, and he solve the solution. So nowadays, social media is becoming a great platform to express their opinion. And moreover, social media is alternating our cultural values. This is the question. And 61.3% of people respondents said that, yes, it's changing. Because many, before social media, people doesn't have an idea about what Western people do, what Western kind of countries do. Might be like American countries or Britain countries. But after social media, all the continents, cultures were incorporated. Nowadays people know what people do in Uganda, what people do in Nigeria, what people do in very underdeveloping countries also. People are understanding their culture. So these are all our findings, and we concluded social media is widely used by all segment of students in Chennai. And the final survey shows that students are widely using social media for their daily life, and it was used for their personal leisure allocation. Social media is generally used for their personal and leisure allocation, and some point we have a negative effect as well as positive effect. And moreover, the social media aspect is they have a difference of opinion towards social norms, ethics, behavior, and culture. Our recommendation is like there is a necessity of for a government and a policy maker should set up a technology that will oversee the adequacy of a content of an information existing in social media network. And we can also say that our government in this budget, they announced that for a particular people, they will form a committee to monitor the social media activities, and they will eliminate the unwanted contents and which is against to the law, and they will encourage people to talk about their policies. So these are all out of this presentation. We could present this kind of thing in 5 minutes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this time.
Yeah,
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr.
Thank you so much,
Ebenezer, and thank you, Dr. Abhiraj. I have Professor William along with us. You can say hi to Professor William.
Hi, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Manonmaniyam Sundranar University. And sir is from the Department of Education. And he chaired the first session in the morning also. So we welcome Professor here. And Dr. Abi, you have been pointing out that it is a responsibility of the government to look into and bring in regulations, right? Don't you think so that we as a member of a society,
Yes, ma'am.
also important that we bring in awareness among the students, how the social media could be utilized or for what purposes? What is your say on that? Because your paper did not cover that, and it's very simple that we can say that the government is responsible, but what is the individual's responsibility?
It's like nowadays, ma'am, there is a two kind of attitude which is maintained in a social media, where people lively, they will be very silent, and they will be very violent when they are posting in social media. So when there is a two kind of a mindset is going on. So we can, as you said, that we can psychologically help students how to handle a social media. But once the content is dropped in public platform, it is again coming to a discussion whether it's right or not. So people can't escape from what they have done. So the policy makers should have what kind of a content should be posted and what kind of a things to be done. That only government can do. Not like we can educate, but there is no any gap. There is a in between. There is a gap, but there is no any steam like in between code. In between code, there is no thing, ma'am. So this is not
to provoke that only. I wanted that. I just wanted to provoke that and bring it out of your presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Next, I invite P. Suhasini, Miss P. Suhasini, Usha, and Miss Kanchana on augmentation of data privacy in mobile cloud using machine learning techniques. Madam Suhasini, Miss
Yes,
Usha.
ma'am. 1 second, may I will share my screen.
Yes, please.
Good evening to everyone. Myself is Rosni, full-time research scholar. I'm doing research under the guidance of Dr. S. Pansinama, SRM University. And my research topic is augmentation of data privacy in mobile cloud using mobile learning techniques. First of all, I start with the over my presentation. I start with the abstract and followed by research objective introduction and it concluded with the reference. In recent decades, the mobile cloud computing can be using because of it. It is very famous and elasticity and flexibility. So the mobile cloud has several upsides and it is reliability, scalability, and availability. But it offers mobile or cloud applications. It is very flexibility to users. So the number of informations are provided in the mobile applications like online money transactions and they are sending any information with the help of the mobile cloud applications. So the large volume of data is maintained in the mobile services. It requires the greater security is the main concern. So with the help of the machine learning techniques handling these kind of data, classify the data with the help of the training data set KNN algorithm, which is this algorithm, the training set filtration K nearest neighbor algorithm is classifying the data. It is based on confidential data and the non-confidential data. So compared to traditional KNN algorithm, this classifying is providing the very effective, that is high compared with the KNN algorithm. The outcome of the KNN TSF algorithm is high precision and it reduces the time frame. So after the classifying data by using the NTRU algorithm to encrypt the data, so the result showed that it is reducing the minimal time frame. And the objective of my research paper is to demonstrate the securing the mobile data privacy in cloud communication frameworks in terms of data classifications using machine learning algorithm. Moving to the introduction, so the mobile cloud computing delivering the services through the mobile devices. So the mobile applications is deployed and remotely deployed and remotely developed many applications with compared with the cloud computing. It is providing very flexibility to the users. It is possible to quickly build applications with the help of the cloud applications. So the machine learning is automatically improve the predicting without explicitly programmed. It is classified into supervised and the non-supervised. The supervised learning techniques is providing the labeled data set based on the data set. It predict the outcome. Then unsupervised learning, so the data set is not provided. So based on the real-time data set, the unsupervised learning is used for predictions and the classifications. So in literature review, I reviewed more than 40 journals. In the review process,
you can go to your objectives.
Give
your analysis and suggestions.
Okay. So in my proposed work, it is two different parts. First one is classification part. Another one is encrypted part. For classification process, I'm using training dataset KNN algorithm for classifying the unclassified dataset. After classifying the dataset by encrypting with the help of the NT-OREO algorithm. So my proposed work is efficient because of it encrypted data and classifying the data in the minimal processing time. So in my work, the data is classified into two types. One is non-confidential data and the highly confidential data. The non-confidential data is available for historical data, surveys, news, media. This type of data is under non-confidential data. The high confidential data include the medical records, the donor information, or the bank details of the customer. And this is the proposed model of my work. In that work, the unclassified mobile training data set is used. So with the help of the training data set, KNN classifier will classify the file based on the attributes of the files, that is list of attributes, metadata under the data of attributes of the file. It classifies the attributes. After that, the sensitive files and the non-sensitive files is classified. Then the sensitive file only encrypted with the help of the NT-OREO algorithm. Before send the data to the secure channel, the data is encrypted. On the receiver side, again the data is classified based on confidential level, based on the attributes of the data. The data is classified non-sensitive file and the data sensitive file. Then the non-sensitive file is stored in the separate cloud storage. The non-sensitive data is stored in the separate cloud storage. So, and this is the execution result. I got the NT-OREO algorithm along with the AES and the RSA. In this algorithm, I compared the encryption process with the AES and the RSA algorithm with the different key sizes. So the NT-OREO algorithm gave the speed minimal time it encrypting and decrypting the data compared with the AES and the RSA algorithm. So it is calculating the performance of the NT-OREO algorithm with the various key sizes of RSA and the AES algorithm. The encrypting is significant timeline for encrypting and the data encryption and decryption. The performance benefits of compare with the AES and the RSA algorithm. So I concluded that this research article, I'm classifying the data with the help of the DSF Canon algorithm. Along with the data is classified with the help of the NT-OREO algorithm. So I'm improving the complexity time and reducing the encryption and the decryption time. And these are the references which I have used for using in my research work. Thank you all for giving the wonderful opportunity.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. It was a very good presentation. I hope so that you come up with a solution, a real-time solution, which can definitely improve upon privacy of data collection and management. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now I invite Ms. Vaishnavi and Dr. S.T. Deepa to present a paper on detection of brain tumor using CNN. Ms. Suhasini, are you there? I think Ms. Suhasini has some issues. We will call her later. Now I request Dr. G.K. Lavanya, Ms. Leela Kumari, VBL, Ms. Haripriya, Ms. Parvata Ambigirani to present on e-learning, a tool for enriching education.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, all of you. This is Dr. G.K. Lavanya, who is going to present a screen on the topic e-learning, a tool for enriching education. Ma'am, are you able to see my screen? Good evening, all of you. Ma'am, are you able to see my screen, ma'am?
Dr. Lavanya, you can proceed.
Ma'am, I'm not able to present the screen, ma'am. Someone is sharing the screen.
Host, can you just make Lavanya as the host, please? You are able to, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
One minute, I'll just check. Ms. Tamarai Chelvi, can you help Lavanya ma'am make her presentation? I hope so. You are available as a host there. Give the rights to Lavanya, please. Lavanya ma'am, you can present your paper no matter whether we have the PPT or not. In the meantime, we'll try to give you the.
Yes, ma'am. This is about e-learning, a tool for enriching education. The study has been taken up to see the change of traditional education replacing with e-learning. So technology which is reaching to the doorsteps of all have received that education has received a large at fulfilling the dreams of getting education from reputed far institution also reaching the people. So previously distance education was one where people were only binded with papers. Now through e-learning, people are able to have the face-to-face interaction with the faculties and clear their doubts and get the better quality education through distance education also through e-learning. So e-learning, as I can say, that is a big boon to the education system, and it is playing a vital role in the digital era. This paper expresses the importance of online education in higher education and its impact on the present generation students. And the objective of the study is to study the transformation of traditional education into e-learning in India and to know e-learning role in helping students to learn additional courses and to understand the challenges in online education. So the scope of the study is that the e-learning with the trends and the facilities in India, which has been confined to the rural, urban areas, not proceeding to the rural areas. And the research gap which is being taken out, saying that the adaptation of any innovative technology also has long-range implications for the relevant community involved in the institution or the wider community constituency surrounding it. There is a repetition and a consistent iteration of the same question, simply changing the specific learning methodology or technology. Such studies are very limited in their ability to properly board the spectrum of e-learning implementation and comprehending fully its impact as well as its problems. So just they are using the technology and you getting the new tools and implementing in the teaching levels, but are not specifically knowing that to what extent it is reaching and why the rural people are not able to focus on it, why they are still at the back. So the study has been taken that what are the loopholes, that how we are able to even cope up with the rural education and e-learning when in the pandemic has run so far, and we said that India is standing in the second place of e-learning, but still we see that people in rural are not able to make up to that extent, and people still feel that no education has been achieved till now until the physical mode of education has been given to them. So transformation, traditional education to e-learning in India, hour-long traditional classroom sessions now transformed into online digital education for both students and teachers. And teachers are also being equipped and educated. Technology has been upgraded to the teachers to use many tools to reach to the students, just to make them one-to-one interaction and feel that free to go on with as equal to the physical education. So online learning platforms are assisting students to get personalized advice from educators and experts, bringing quality education to students. It is fun-filled with quiz challenges, particularly practical-oriented interactive in the fact that e-learning facilitates encourages students than in the classroom ability. Many of the digital tools which are being used are Google Classroom, CISA project, which is a multi-dimensional digital storytelling tool, which is visually compelling presentations, so which is being used mostly from cages to 12th class. And ThinkLink is one of the digital learning tool, which is creates unique experiences with moderate and interactive images, technology for teachers and students. And Socrative gives an efficient way to monitor and develop and encourage the tools for the students. And as we were discussing about online courses, which in addition to the classrooms, students are being equipped with other online courses in order to enhance their education, the level of knowledge to reach their practicality in the succeeding career. So Swayam, NPTEL MOOCs courses have been also introduced, and which have been helped the students to reach out their careers. Lack of infrastructure is one of the challenges that we find in online education. I told you the research gap which we found is that we are giving many tools, we are imparting many education, encouraging the teachers to learn the technology and upgrade themselves. But we see that lack of infrastructure in few areas where it has not reached to the students to say that India is standing second in online education. Limited social interaction and self-motivation is very lacking in the students to go on with their online courses. Still, we say that many opportunities are being given, yet motivation by the staff or by the government with by imparting them with less cards and free courses have been also given, but yet self-motivation is needed where it helps us to move further students to go on to achieve many courses. And language is one of the barriers. We see that students are not able to cope up, and hidden cost in the providing of infrastructure to the students, not in the colleges and schools, but also at home to impart their knowledge from the net, whichever the sources we are given. And learning experience is missing. Always we see that traditional education has good value. Still that learning experience and the gap between the traditional online is still in life. So risk of fraud in online tutorials is there, where parents has to safeguard, and educated parents are there to help the students to overcome this. But still we feel that few parents are not able to conclude and prone to the online frauds to the online tutors. So at last, I suggest that not only the government should take steps to reach rural areas with high-speed internet facility, and collaborate with research laboratories, research centers to get good quality higher education, and to introduce a policy with e-learning facilities in schools and colleges to take India to first position in physical education. Apart from this, I can suggest that conclude that creating an atmosphere suitable for e-learning can be provided by NGOs and under social responsibility by companies, taking a corporate social responsibility by the companies, not only providing other facilities, they can now come forward to provide infrastructure facilities to rural people so that e-learning process will be easy. And many of the IT companies which are working on the many softwares and all, apps and all can help the rural people to give them free of cost and make them equal to the urban people and face the competitive examinations and succeed in getting the knowledge. And new dimensions in the e-learning makes education to go beyond, within and beyond curricular, looking for further opportunity. So I conclude saying that not only IT companies, government, but all other educated institutions can adapt the schools, rural schools, and go with the digital education to bring up the equality in among the people. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Lavanya. Is Miss Suhasini available? The host has not restricted anyone. You all are given host facility. So kindly you can make the presentation. Is Miss Suhasini available? I'm sorry, Suhasini Pandian. Are you available now to present? Miss Suhasini, can I go to the next presenter? I can see you on the screen, but you are on mute. So I just proceed to Mr. Balaganesh Duraiswamy and Dr. S.T. Deepa to make the presentation on design of sports selection architecture using recursive neural network and K-means clustering algorithm. Over to Mr. Balaganesh.
Yes, ma'am. Is it audible?
Yes, sir, you are very much audible.
Okay, thank you. So shall I start my presentation? So just I will share my screen now. Can you see my screen, ma'am? Hello.
Mr. Balaganesh?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear?
Yeah, you can start, please.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
You are the host only, sir.
Okay.
They have not restricted anybody. All are given host facility. You can make your presentation. You can share your screen.
Yeah, I already shared the screen, but is it
What?
visible? Is it visible?
Host, you said that you have not disabled anybody, but again, Mr. Balaganesh has problem. Is any
I
of the
I
presenters who
already
have
shared the
not
screen,
stopped
ma'am, but
presentation?
the thing is not available. Just a minute, I will share it again. Can you see my screen, ma'am? Hello, can you hear?
1 minute, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can I present now? Dr. Ladakh Mari.
1 minute, madam. Actually, Mr. Balagan, there is some technical difficulty. They are not able to make their
Okay,
presentation.
madam.
1 minute,
Okay, okay.
checking
Thank
on
you.
it. Is our screen visible to you, sir, now?
Yes, ma'am. Now my screen is. Yeah, this is my.
We
Yeah.
have made, we could present it. Why? I don't know.
Okay, okay, ma'am. No problem. Just you can make it next to next. I will present, ma'am. Is it okay, ma'am?
Yes, sir. You proceed, sir.
Okay. Make it a slide, so ma'am. I will present. Yeah. Good day to all. Thank you for the given this opportunity. So my paper title is Design to Sports Selection Architecture using Recursive Neural Network and K-means clustering algorithm. So the content is, can you go to the next slide? Or else I will, yeah. So the content of that my slide is abstract introductions, methods, experimental setup, implementing methodology, result and discussion, conclusion and reference. So the abstract, the purpose of this paper is choosing the right person for the right sports. That's a main objective. So that is a main goal of my paper. So this paper is proposed a system for selecting the correct person to the sports, which the person is matched in the boundary of the particular practice and healthy life according to the several perception of calculation based on speed, weight, height, and heart rate. So we are choosing the right person for the right sports. So that's the main objective. So that is my abstract. So in my introductions, this paper is explained with complete system of analysis and selection architecture with the design of implementation. What is the main purpose means like each individuals and based on that heartbeat ability, based on the health ability, which sports is matched to them, and based on we can give them clear output. So that's what we are provide this kind of system. So that's the introduction part. Then methods. So what the kind of methods we are using for that? First, we use the data set is Endomondo is the data set. Using the data set, we collect the data. The data is available of characteristic of each person's and sports related characters from each person's. Then the data we have done the filtering process. After filtering, we have done the normalization methods, then measurement of zero scores. After that, we have done two types of measurement, that is two types of test. One is physical test and another one is power test. The physical test, which is characterized in pulse rate, speeds in time, distance cover, like that. The power test, which is characterized is latitude, longitude, and genders. So based on these two types, we characterized it. So which person is right person for a right sports. So we are matching. So these are the methods we used. So using that methods, we have done the experimental setup. From that experimental setups, we used that k-means clustering algorithm. We make it a group. So after grouping that, we have done a MATLAB software. Then the selection process is computed by recursive neural network. So using that recursive neural network, so different kind of sports we have done the representation, graphical representation we have implemented, that is like heart rate and attitude, heart rate with attitude with male and heart rate attitude with female. So that's a thing we have found in that experimental setup. So the recursive neural network algorithm, as we follow the certain steps like the comparison, comparative studies, one of the sports we have taken like a bike race, male can perform 0.04 and female can perform 0.02. And mountain bike, male can perform 0.07 and female can perform 0.02. So like that, each and every sports we have to we have done the comparison using the recursive neural network algorithm. So that's a comparison we have done. Then the implementation methodology, using that exploratory data analysis report, heart rate difference between male and female, that we have done for all the sports. So based on that implementing methodology, then the result and discussion, the bike race male can perform how much compared to the female and compared to the female. So like that, each and every sports we found the comparison. That is a result and discussion we have done based on the heart rate, attitude, and speed. So the conclusion of this particular paper, sport pertain to any forms of the competition physical activities that aim to using, maintaining, or improving the physical strength and the skill while providing joyful of the participant. So our result is produced exploratory data analysis. The system can result 89% of accuracy perception level is produced by the data set. So that's what we have concluded. Using this k-means algorithm and the recursive method, we have done 89% of accuracy from this paper we bring in. So that's what that's the thing from that my paper. So thank you all for giving that opportunity for presenting.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think we wish you all the very best to come out this paper as a project successfully. Thank you very
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Next, can we have Dr. Lata Kumari to present her paper on vegetarian foods in ancient social South India.
Which has been troubling the mind of India since the last 500 years. So that was conclusion
My PPT.
that and the way facilitated it concluded.
Good evening, everybody. Now I am presenting the article under the title Vegetarian Foods in Ancient South India. Food is essential for human survival. It plays an important role among the three basic necessities of mankind, the other two being clothing and shelter. The search for food served as the vital catalyst man to utilize his wide range of faculties. It has been rightly called Kanaka and the sustainers of life. Food mean for human consumption is classified generally under two broad categories, namely the solid food and the liquid food. Solid food may be classified into edibles from natural produce and those from artificial nutrients or cooked comestibles. The former includes such natural products as fruits, vegetables, flowers, stems, roots, leaves, tubers, and nuts. Besides solid food can also be classified under two sections, vegetarian and non-vegetarian. The ancient South Indian people take vegetarian food and as well as non-vegetarian food. On its Adayarku Nallar, the commander of Silappatikaram enumerates them as Nellu, Varagu, Tinai, Samai, Irungu, Tuvarai, and Ragi. However, certain other Tamil works refer to 18 kinds of edible grains and pulses. They are Tuvarai, Kollu, Ellu, Payaru, Ulundu, Avarai, Kadalai, Mochai, Kambu, and Karamani. These are the Tamil names. In addition to those 8 ingredients already mentioned, pulses in Tamil are called Tunai Kulam. That means, which means the ancillary articles of diet. Supplementary foods. Cereals, rice, nil. Among cereals, the rice forms the staple food for the most of the South Indians. Plenty of literary references corroborated by epigraph indicate that rice was the mainstay in ancient South India too. The earliest archaeological evidences so far about the use of rice in South India dates back to megalithic age. This is attested to by the findings from the megalithic site at Kannattur, Chengalpet district, Tamil Nadu, which had preserved grains of rice used then. The earliest literary reference to use of rice is mentioned in Tolkappiyam, a grammatical treatise in Tamil. It refers to two varieties of paddies, Chennal and Vennal. Chennal means red variety of rice. Vennal means white variety of paddy or rice. Profuse reference about them are found in Sangam works also. Two varieties of rice were widely grown and used over a vast regional channel, was grown in the fertile pond region. Tondi of the Chera kingdom were famous for this variety and affluent society was fond of it. However, the old channel was considered to be better. Thorai Nellu was a kind of paddy grown in highlands. Topinal was a paddy crop of dry lands. It cultivated in dry lands. Its boiled rice was reddish in color, which was used to prepare a kind of liquor. Sella Nellu was a kind of paddy found mentioned in an inscription of Pallava ruler Nandivarman III. Narel and Tranial were some other varieties of paddy grown during the time of Pallavas. Devaram, a Tamil work, mentions two more varieties of paddy called Piramburi and Tippiyam, grown in the Chola Mandalam. Sali and Sensali, Perunsali was another type of, where the another two varieties of Sali rice found in Tamil Nadu in the beginning. Then milk rice food, varieties of rice dishes. One example I mentioned, rice cooked in milk is referred to a number of Tamil works. In the pastoral regions where milk was available in plenty, milk rice food was frequently prepared. The visitors and guests spending at the house of cowcards were fed with this dish called palu mittai. Sweet in taste, it became an important item for special occasions. Sivaka Sindhamani gives a description of Akkara Vadisal, a sweet dish. This was a special dish in which rice was cooked in milk and sugar was added to tender it delicious. Nalayara Divya Prabandham too makes a similar reference to this. During the time of Pallavas, it was a popular preparation in the household. It was frequently prepared in the temple kitchen as an offering to the deity. Inscriptions also refer to a similar dish called Akkara Adisal or Akkara Adalai, nowadays called Pongal. Ugara and Odana are the varieties of.
Can we have your suggestions and your analysis?
Yes. Ma'am. Ugara and Odana varieties.
Can you give your suggestions in brief and conclusion?
Yes, ma'am. Then Tinai millet, other varieties of ragi, wheat, and pulses also used. Yes, I will conclude.
Hello, Dr. Lata?
Yes.
You have completed?
No, ma'am. They forgot only one paragraph. The forgetting study thus reveals that vegetables, fruits, pot herbs, are greens, leaves, flowers, edible roots, tubers, and seeds were all used for making side dishes, salads, sauce, and broth. Spices for seasoning and flavoring dishes, oil for frying, salt for maintaining taste, milk and milk products for enhancing nutritional value, honey and sugarcane products as sweetening agent. Some people used non-vegetarian food also. Thus, each component classified as a common food accessory with its characteristic quality, nutritive value, and utility, collectively contributed to making the dietary wholesome and well balanced. Nowadays, South Indians use fast food. They forgot traditional food. It caused many diseases. Awareness about traditional foods in young generations will rectify most of the health issues. Government also want to take steps to restrict artificial foods, tin foods, cool drinks, etc., and encourage using traditional foods. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Lata, for enlightening us with the ancient foods of South India. Can I now call Mr. Manikanda Sethupathi to speak on historical significance of Kayathar? I request the participants to subject to objectives, their hypotheses, their findings and suggestions. Probably you can just highlight the introduction and the conceptual framework of your research. Thank you. Mr. V. Manikanda Sethupathi, are you there, sir? I request Madam Viji B, under the guidance of Professor William, to present the paper on understanding dyslexia, linking the cognitive architecture of reading process.
Good evening, madam. Madam?
Good evening, madam. Please proceed.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to my PPT is not visible. Is it okay, ma'am?
Yeah, please proceed, madam.
So the purpose
madam, your
of
PPT
my
is
paper.
Visible. Yeah, please.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
It's visible, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. So I am going to present about the purpose of the paper is to bring together some of the research studies into a coherent body of knowledge which stress the importance of cognitive mechanisms like attention, memory, and perception in the reading process. So the title of the paper is Understanding Dyslexia by Linking the Cognitive Architecture of Reading Process. So reading is the path to success in school and life. When children learn to read, they love to read books and they learn loudly. Learning. So spoken language is present all over the world, irrespective of all the cultures. When this child is exposed to the speaking environment, it starts to speak naturally, and we don't want to put any effort to teach them to speak. But reading is not easy like that, because we have to teach some reading skills, which are some basic reading skills to train the children to read. So to understand the reading mechanism, we have to link the cognitive process. So these are the sub skills which are required in the learning reading process. First, the child must be aware about the language. It must have the knowledge that language can be divided into smaller elements, and she must be able to identify the words or letters. Then it must acquire the ability to correspond the printed text into the sound. So it should also be able to make out the whole words very quickly and also accurately. And also, in the meantime, it has to get the meaning of the word from the text. So in the beginning stage, a child should be able to map the text against the sounds of a language. It should practice reading again and again for fluent and automatic reading. So then only it can build up the skill of automacy. So these two are the important skills needed for a child in the learning process. The ability to decode, that is true, the ability to translate the printed letters or words to sounds, and the ability to comprehend, that is the ability to extract the meaning for those words. These are the two important skills in the reading process. When this normal reading process is disrupted, there is a type of disability called reading disability, also commonly known as dyslexia, which is a hidden disability. When there is a lack of fluent reading, that is when the child is not able to read the printed letters exactly or accurately from the text, it leads to reading disability. So the difficulties which it experiences in the accurate and fluent reading is one of the hallmark of dyslexia, because this disruption in fluency affects the whole reading process. So this is the important characteristic feature, that is the lack of fluency distinguishes dyslexia from other disorders. So how to relate cognition and reading? So there are so many models explaining the cognitive process.
Ma'am, can you throw light on your objectives, not to go much on your library of literatures and other things?
Okay, ma'am. So these are the three important cognitive factors in reading: attention, memory, and perception. So from this diagram, we can understood the stimuli is sensualized by the sense organs, and the way the students perceive the stimuli is very important for these two processes. Attention plays a very prominent role, and from this, after perceiving the visual information or auditory information, it is transformed to the memory traces. It is transformed into memory traces. The memory also has two components, short term and long term. When it is stored for a short span of period, it is known as short term, and when it is repeated and trained, it is converted into long term memory. So this for these three process, attention is the main cause. So when we are reading, we should focus on the letters, and these cognitive processes are interrelated and dependent on one another. When there is a disruption in this attention or in the perception or in the storing of the memory traces, there is some faulty information enters the brain, and that leads to reading disabilities. So when we are planning the intervention, we have to keep in mind, we should focus on the attention, memory, and perception. We should give training that the intervention should focus on the cognitive mechanisms of reading, so that we can take the children to the next level of reading. Thank you.
Madam, thank you very much. The thing that you have thrown light is really helpful for the students. And I'm also happy to share with you that your professor was along with me when we were actually we were presenting it. Thank you so much.
How much of effort we need to put together to success of the events. And a man is here, that another man, Deepa madam is in Chennai, that participating in different places, online, conveying the message.
Can I now have Ms. V. Sasikala, under the guidance of Dr. Williams, to present on mindfulness, the secret tool for happy life. Over to Ms. V. Sasikala. Dr. V. Sasikala.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Dr. V. Sasikala, kindly proceed.
Good evening, one and all. I am Dr. V. Sashikala, and this paper is co-authored by Professor B. William Dharmaraja. The topic of my article is mindfulness, a secret tool for happy life. So in this 21st century, all have a busy and work-oriented lifestyles, which the emergence of technology has also raised a tempo of life. No one has time to stand and live the present moment. Many messy thoughts, beliefs, feelings come into our mind and juggle and halts and makes ourselves to stay away from being aware and focus on the task performed. We need to strike a balance between our mind and body to enjoy the present moment. We stop seeing to the worldly nature's gift and nature's presentations and enjoy the moment which has been in front of us just because of the juggling thoughts. So the solution for this problem is an ancient secret, which is to be mindful. The being mindful is vitally important to have a successful professional and as well as a peaceful lifestyle. Everybody in town in this 21st century are being multitaskers. They don't have time. They don't enjoy. Thich Nhat Hanh, who is the father of mindfulness, have always said, whatever you are doing, take a pause, take a breath, and come back to your body so that you can live the present moment, so that you don't skip the pleasure and joy that is presented in the life at the present moment. The definition of mindfulness by John Kabat-Zinn says mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way on purpose in the present moment without being judgmental. That is what mindfulness is. That is, we have to live the present moment, being aware of one's own surroundings, and we have to have the ability to stay focused without getting distracted. If one is able to do this, then he would be able to reach the secret of happiness. Educational goal has been the cognitive focus of education has been changed, has been modified, and it has been focused on the holistic development of the children. So with mindfulness, all the abilities ensures attention in the development of capabilities and abilities of a child in multifaceted dimensions, especially intellectual, mental, social, physical, and even moral and emotional aspects are concentrated while we change the educational environment into a mindful classroom environment. It also turns the educational climate to be a joyful and positive learning environment. When mindfulness is infused in teaching learning process, it improves the ability of the teachers teaching. Teacher plays a vital role. She has to modify her thought. She has to modify the teaching practices, strategies as per the needs of the students. So it improves her ability of teaching, and it builds a strong teacher-pupil relationship, which fosters the classroom climate to be a positive and joyful climate. So learning will be fun and joyful. As per many researchers has been conducted and based on the reviews of related literature, when the positive mindfulness classrooms has positive correlation with academic performances. It optimizes the self-esteem of students and promotes social motives and enhances the cognitive abilities, and it also focuses on the psychological well-being and physical well-being of the students, and multiple areas of changes in the brain system like attention system, emotional regulations and emotional management, and self-referential processing is being enhanced through mindfulness practices when mindfulness practices is being induced in the classroom climate. How this mindful practices could be induced in this modern technology oriented classrooms, like we could take the students to field trip where we can promote the mindful seeing and mindful walking. Even the classroom, many researchers, even in our department, there is a research which facilitates that when you have a relaxing music played in the classroom climate, it enhances the mental health as well as the academic achievements of students. So in classrooms or the school environment, a relaxing music will be played, and mindful seeing games and playing with slime and all could be encouraged for kids, and for higher education, the student could be encouraged while for intern or industrial visits or field trips, they could be channelized to have a mindful seeing and mindful walking. Even they could be asked to go in for mindful watching while they return to college or from school, they walking, the school climate, everything. Especially yoga is also another mode of mindful practice. So these could be included in the classroom climate where the teacher as well as the learners would enjoy the classroom climate. A mindful teacher in a mindful classroom will definitely lead to be a lifestyle with holistic mindfulness. The teaching learning process would be joyful only if the participants involve themselves with mind and soul. Mindfulness will help to understand the connection between mind and soul. So this ancient secret has to be taught and given importance in this present era, irrespective of the spiritual, the Buddhist origin of the mindfulness, and you have to untangle it from the religious perspective and take it as a spiritual concept, and it has to be infused in the classroom climate. So it is high time that we have to think about whether one has to opt for being mindful or mindful. So add it to your to-do list now, so that a mindful teacher to have a mindful student or the future citizen of a nation. Thanks for listening, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. It was pleasure listening to you, ma'am, because I think it is a need of the hour where we need to really make the children feel happy about learning. And these are all the techniques through which you can. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, can I have now Mr. Balakrishna Kalkani and Miss Subrana Shakya to present their paper, Age, Gender and Ethnicity Prediction using Deep Separable Conventional, what is it? Neural networks. Convolutional neural networks. Over
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
It is audible? Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, sir, we can. I can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ma'am, and conference members. I am here to present my research as gender and ethnicity prediction using deep separable convolution neural networks. We are from Nepal, Tribhuvan University, Institute of Engineering. Now, this is the outline of my presentations. First, introductions, then materials and methodology, data sets, purpose, methodology, and experimental result and analysis, result and accuracy and loss graph, performance analysis of model, testimony images, and last, conclusion. First, why do we choose these topics as gender and ethnicity predictions? Because there is no identical face in the world. Every face has unique features. That means we can use the face for identity. Face has unique features because of age, gender, and ethnicity, it also impacts how do we communicate and how do we express our feelings with one others, and we also limit our beliefs based on our ethnicity and age. Not only that, this research also helps to impose the law enforcement, security controls, biometric controls. That means security controls, biometric controls, and human-computer interaction. All of the recommendation system based on your age, based on your ethnicity, not only based on your genders. All of the e-commerce sites, social network sites recommend those things based on age, gender, and ethnicity. This research helps to recommend those things based on your human choice and gender choice or ethnicity choice. We have used the datasets of UTK-FACE datasets. It has 23,705 images. It has 5 ethnicity groups: white, black, Asian, Indian, and others. The minimum age is 0 and maximum age 116. Gender, of course, there is 2 genders, male and females. This is the sample of our datasets. This is a sample of our datasets. This is the female, age is 100, gender female, and ethnicity is white. This one is the another image from our datasets. This is the age is 105, gender is male, and ethnicity is white. Similarly, this is the another image. We just took 4 images from 23,000 images to represent, to show how our datasets looks like. This is the proposed methodology for black diagram for our research. We took the images from our datasets. This is the image. It is this size of image 128 into 198 into 198. We provide input to the convolution neural networks. This is the convolution neural networks. Following with the max pooling layer, this has 6 layers, at least 6 layers. That means deep neural networks, CNN layers, and we flatten our maximized features to provide input in the full connected layer. The one layer is parallel 3 layers, one full connected layer used to predict the age, the another full connected layer used to predict the gender, male and female, the another full connected layer used to predict the ethnicity. That means 5 category in ethnicity. That's why we used 5 different category in the layer. This is the block diagram of our proposed methodology. We have used in our research basically not only convolution neural networks, we have used separable convolution neural networks. This is the difference, what we have made difference in our research. Separable neural networks are 2 types: spatial separable and depth-wise separable. Spatial separation just simply break the kernel into smaller size. We can see here is a 3 by 3 matrix. We break into 2 matrix smaller size, 1 into 3, and other, sorry, 3 into 1, and other 1 into 3. If we multiply those things, we will get the 3 by 3 matrix. The meaning of this is simplifications for the computational complexity, but when we apply the spatial separation convolution neural networks, we might lose the features, spatial features, topological features from the images. That's why we do not use spatial separable convolution neural networks. The another one is the depth-wise separable neural networks. The depth-wise separable convolution neural networks works different than the normal convolution neural networks. We can see we have a RGB image. That means we have 3 channels, R, G, and B. We apply the filter in each channels. You can see there is a 5 by 5 size of filters. We apply this filter in red channels. We apply this filter for green channel. We apply this filter for blue channel, RGB. That's why we apply the different filter for each channel. Then this is the depth-wise convolution. The depth-wise convolution then passed into the point-wise convolution. That means we then apply the single layer of point operations into the depth-wise convolution layer. We will get that results. This is the output of separable convolution neural network which we have used in our methods. The normal convolution is this. The main difference between the normal convolution neural networks, and separable convolution neural networks is that it is more faster than this one. This is normal convolution neural network. This is separable convolution neural network. It is more faster than separable neural network. Separable convolution neural network is more faster than the normal convolution neural network. That's why we choose the separable convolution neural networks for the age, gender, and ethnicity predictions for our research. We conducted these results in Google Colab. The Google Colab provides a platform, wonderful platform to run our models. It gives the 12 GB of the GPU for 12 hours in a 12 hours free for 1 day. Also provides 69 GB of free space to store your output data or intermediate record data. That's why we conduct our research into the Google Colab. We built 3 different models to analyze the results of our research. We built the 3 models. We have used 8 different hyperparameters to tune the models. Separable convolution layer, dense layer, dropout, regularizations, loss weight, optimizer, loss function, and trainable parameters, ultimate parameters. The model 1 used the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 separable convolution layer, same, keeping the S full connected layer has the 3 layers, ethnicity has the 3 layers, gender has the 3 layers. The neuron number of neurons required in its full connected layer is different. We have used the dropout and regularizations parameter to control the overfitting of the model. We have the 3 output. That's why we use the loss weight mechanism to control the overall loss of our model. We have used the Adam optimizer to control the optimization techniques while predict the results, while categorize the results. We have used MAC loss for age and categorical cross entropy for the gender and ethnicity in the first model. The total trainable parameter for the first model was 74,000. Similarly, the architecture keeping same, but we have tuned the parameters. For example, we change the number of neurons in the separable convolution layer. We change the number of neurons in full connected layer. We change the dropout layer. We change the regularization parameter. We have used L1 and L2 in the model 1 regularizations. We only use the L2 regularization in the model 2. We're keeping the same loss weights. We have changed the optimizer in model 2. We have used RMS prop in the model 2. We also keep the same loss functions for the model 2. At that mode, we have the 4 lakhs trainable parameter in model 2. Similarly, in model 3, we have decreased the sum number of neurons in the separable convolution neural layer and dense layer. We change the dropout layer. We have number of dropout units. We also change the regularization parameter. We increase our loss weight mechanisms. The 5, 3, 2, that means the total weight is given 10. The loss of weight has multiplied by 5. The loss of gender multiplied by 3, and the loss of ethnicity multiplied by 2, and overall multiplied by, because the age has only one parameter to train the images, that it's fast. The loss function is exponentially decreased. That's why to minimize the decrease rate, we multiply by higher constants to minimize to decrease the loss functions. These are the hyperparameters to tune the models. This is the loss achieved during our training models. This is the model 1 performance. This image is the model performance of model 1. This image is the performance of model 2. We can see this is better.
Mr. Balakrishna, sorry for disturbance. Can you just your conclusions? We have
just
one.
1 minute. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Just 1 minute. This is the model 3 performance. This is the parameter comparison of model 1, model 2, and model 3. You can discuss later. This is the testimony images of our results. This one is the real image, and this is the predicted image, just so simple. The age is 1, we predict age 1, gender is male, predicted gender is male, the right ethnicity is white, ethnicity is white. This is the result of testimony images. You can see that. This is the final, we conclude our result. We achieve the 79% accuracy in the ethnicity and 89.94% accuracy in the gender. We achieve the almost more accurate result in the age by using the model 3 parameter. The model is the best model compared to model 1, model 2, and model 3. Thank you.
Mr. Balakrishna, thank you so much. I think that was a wonderful combination of age, gender, ethnicity, and predictions by using separable convolutional neural networks, wherein you have just worked it out with the matrix. That was a number playing the magic. Thank you so much. We wish you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
And the final presenter of the day is Ms. Androswati, along with Professor William Dharmaraja. Over to Androswati to present on classroom communicative competence.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, is my screen visible?
It's visible. Please proceed.
So, good evening, one and all present here. This is Androswati under the guidance of Dr. B. William Dharmaraja from the Department of Education, Manomanyan Sinnar University. So, today I am presenting the paper on classroom communicative competence. So, in the current era, communication is the thing which is lacking both on face-to-face interaction or even in online mode. So classroom communicative competence gives importance to first on communication. So communication is the process of passing information and understanding the same from one person to another through verbal or non-verbal means. So it is a sharing of information between individuals using various modes and medium. So speaking on classroom communication, it comprises of two. That is, one is skill of teacher, which gives the clear-cut ideas on information and the subject matter. And in concept of students' communication, they tackle or try to understand the environment where they are presented. So they find communication as a medium to overcome the difficulties in the learning environment. Next comes the communicative competence. It is an ability to understand and use language effectively, whatever be concept, or using the skill of vocal or writing or oral presentation. So here communicative competence, we have social linguistics, discourse analysis, and various methods. But on classroom communicative competence, it falls under functional and linguistic phase. So the second language acquisition, whatever may be a foreign language other than their vernacular or mother language, it comes under the functional phase. Next is communicative language teaching. So communicative language teaching, it highly falls under the concept of teacher. Here we could see the language proficiency used by the teacher, like vocabulary, syntax, non-verbal language in the comes under the gestures or postures produced by the teacher, or language connection and culture. Next, on this base, we have the structure of language, where teacher has to be aware of language forms that they are producing or speaking in the classrooms. So they must give a clear-cut meaning and exposure towards the language. So teacher can use the symbols and rules, or how the language can be framed. It must be in a clear-cut form to the student. So some of the structures of language that are given here are phoneme. Phonemes are the simplest fictional speech sound. So here the usage of sounds like a, u, this comes under phoneme. And next is morpheme. These are the simplest combination of phonemes. It is the smallest meaningful unit of language. Here, the part of words with noun form indicates a present and past are also termed as phoneme. Next comes the sentences, phrases or a group of words that express a single thought. So these are phrases that are connected to form sentences. It conveys a concept or messages propagated by the teacher in the form of comment, assertion, question, and so on. Next is language and communication used by teachers in classroom. So teacher generates the learning situation. So the desired behavioral change may be brought out from the learners. So applying teaching strategies like and tactics on desired learning structure and conditioning. This is a concept where communicative classroom communicative competence falls under the environment of classroom. So here the language tone will be of administrative or instructional tone or in the form of commands under a formal language. So the medium can be of vocal modes and visual aids. Next comes the communication used by learner in a classroom. Here, teacher uses the concept of language acquisition or a new language is taught in a classroom. So the student act as a receptive or a passive listener, where they produce informal languages with the co-students and formal language with the staff. So their receptive mode can be trained in the concept of skill practicing, where skills like drill or repeating the mode or repeating new words can be brought out by the teachers. So their receptive mode can be changed to an active phase. Next comes teaching versus learning, whereas teacher produces or reproduce the subject knowledge, and here students' previous knowledge is also important to make teaching learning a successful one. So teaching is completely based on curriculum, whereas learning it gives a behavioral change in a learner with a moral, ethical, and creative outcome of the learners. So learners are of visual learners, auditory, and kinesthetic learners. So based on the ability of the learner, teacher must modulate their way of teaching. Next is the teaching devices. They are the external forms or modes which is used to regulate the gap between the teaching and learning. So tools adopted by teacher in classroom environment to make the teaching more effective. So it reduces the gap between the teaching and learning. So based on these teaching devices is further formed to fixing devices, where it is divided into or as artificial devices and natural devices. In the artificial devices, the forms such as narration and exposition are given. Narration is nothing but the oral communication or the events, how a teacher used to narrate a story, both on verbal or non-verbal gestures. And during narration, teacher tried to use a short and catchy sentences to attract or to observe, make listener to understand and to be conscious of what the teacher wanted to express. Next comes exposition. It is of opening, exhibiting, or displaying. It is like a kind of drama where it contains a prologue and epilogue, where a plot it moves from exposition to rising action to climax, falling action, and resolution. So this can be like a flashback stories, etc. And next comes the natural devices that are answering and illustration. So answering, when a teacher questions a student, they try to answer and which makes it as a natural conversation. Next comes illustration. To make teaching more easy or to make the communication more easy, teacher can produce models, pictures through blackboards, chart, maps, and sketches. Next comes this application of communicative competence. So the teaching devices which we saw now can be taken into action to the classroom using the fixing devices. These fixing devices are to remove the repeated information and help a learner to grasp new information. So fixing devices includes practice of drill and review. So in the drill, here we have the repeated practice of a content or the subject matter. Simpson turns drill as it is a serious activity which has for its purpose the perfection of skill or strengthening of association to make them more permanent. So drill must not be forced. It must be on the interest of the learner themselves. So to illustrate, it can be a form of a flashcard, repeating the content to the learner. And next is the review. So here, it is a concern with the skill. It is a skill of like a problem solving, where the facts are being repeated. So here, learners try to review the outcome of their learning and to analyze their weakness and strength. So various types of review includes daily lesson review and application. Next comes the outcome of the communicative competence of this paper is that teacher acts as a source of language instructor, mainly in the targeted language, and the learner try to adopt to the classroom environment and act as a silent observer and an active participant. So their role can be made to achieve this classroom communicative competence through the following concept. There are reorganizing the normal passive classroom competence to the active form or an interactive classroom, and second, to increase the students' curiosity through using various teaching aids and devices. And a teacher must carefully plan the schedule or plan the content what they are going to produce, that would help learner a better understanding. So learner's understanding level must be known to a teacher. That is how the learner can decode the new language or the new concept that is used in a class. So learning in a whole comes with the change in the behavior of the learner. So concluding, language plays an important role in classroom communicative competence. It picks up the confidence of the learner towards the targeted language. So learner must be of open-minded and enthusiastic in accepting a new language. They must overcome the hatred or the confusion of their new language or communication produced by the teacher. So teacher must use a correct medium to reduce the language gap and the language barrier which the learner is facing. So mother tongue can be also used in times of needs. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Swati. Would you like to see somebody? I'm just switching on my video. You can see your guide.
Hi, Swati.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, you are done beautifully. Thank you. So good.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for guiding.
Thank you. You have made it very beautifully well. I wish that you follow everything when you become a full-fledged teacher. Wish you all the very best. Participants, I think we have completed all this presenters. Is anyone left? I would like to know whether any one of you did not have the opportunity to present, or you had some technical difficulty due to which you could not present. I can just give you a time now. Otherwise, we can wind up. So thank you so much. Thank you very much, all of you. Here also, we have completed the session and we are now proceeding towards the validation at Dubai. Thank you very much. I'm just signing off. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
year 2002 எனக்கு அந்த லைஃப் அச்சீவ்மெண்ட் டூர் ஆர்கனைசர் அப்படிங்கறத இந்த மேனுக்கு நான் முன்னாடியே சொன்னேன். அவங்க தான் கேட்க தெரியாம செஞ்சதெல்லாம் நான் ஒத்துக்க முடியாது. எனக்கு கம்பெனியை கூட்டு போன ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் கொரோனா கம்பெனி போயிட்டு கொரோனா வந்து துபாய் வந்து கரெக்டாக துபாய் ஃபிளைட் அது வரைக்கும் சந்தேகம் தான். நீங்க கொரோனா சைனா வந்து வந்துருக்கீங்க. அந்த திரும்பி போகும்போது பிசிஆர் டெஸ்ட் எடுத்து பரவாயில்ல. இந்த மாதிரி நம்ம டெல்லிக்கு போகிறதுனால ஒரு டிஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்கு. ஏன்னா நான் மட்டும் தான் தமிழ் பேசியிருப்பேன். என் கூட தரது கூட அவன் வந்து ஹிந்தியில் என்ன வார்த்தை பேசணும்னு யோசனை பண்ணிட்டு வருவான் போலீஸ். நான் மட்டும் என்ன இந்த இடத்துல போனோடனே இந்த பையனை போய் இந்த மாதிரி வேலை கேட்டு கூடான்னு கேட்கணும். அப்படி கொடுக்கனா போடான்னு திட்டிட்டு வரணும்னா மெட்ராஸ்ல வந்துட்டீங்களா எனக்கு திட்டத்துலேயே வந்தீங்கன்னா விற்கிறேன். நான் தமிழ்நாட்டுக்காரன் தான் திட்டுன்னு சொன்னாலே நான் தமிழ் பேசுறேன். தமிழே பேச மாட்டேன். தமிழாக தமிழ் பேச மாட்டேன். இங்க பாருங்க எங்க போனாலும் தமிழா இருக்கு. ஒரு ஃபீலிங் கூட கிடையாது. நம்ம வெளிநாட்டுக்கு வந்துருக்கோம். நம்ம ஊர்லயே சுத்தாமையே இருக்கு. ஆனா கட்டணம் மட்டும் நம்ம எப்படி இருக்கணும் அப்படி இருக்கிறோம். அதே மாதிரி இந்த ரூம் அரேஞ்ச்மெண்ட்ஸ் பிரமாதமா இருக்கு. எவ்வளவு விஷயம் இந்த ரூமுக்கு கொண்டு போனாலும் சரி, இந்த ஹால் போனாலும் சரி, ஏதோ ஒரு 4 பேரையே சுத்தி 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 காமிச்சிட்டு இருக்காங்க. அந்த பிரேம் வந்து கோல்டு பிரேம் வந்து அந்த இது ஹோட்டல் வந்து சுத்தி காமிச்சிட்டு இருக்காங்க. அதனால வே வந்து டைவர்ஷன் டு அனதர் வே அப்படின்ற மாதிரி. ஆர்கனைசர்ஸ் ரொம்ப பிரமாதம். அதை விட ரொம்ப முக்கியமா சொல்லணும்னா ஒரு அருமையான பிளேம் பண்ணுங்க. இதுதான் அவங்க வந்து புதுசமாக ஒரு நடக்க போகுது. ஒரு மேஜிக், ஒரு யாருக்கும் தெரியாத ஒரு சீக்ரெட் அப்படி என்னமோ சொல்லுறாங்க. ஒரு ஹிஸ்டாரிக்கல் ஃபிலிம் ஒரு ரிக்வஸ்டா சொல்றேன். அந்த மேடம் தீபா மேடம் அந்த பிரின்சிபல் மேடத்துக்கு ஒரு ரிக்வஸ்ட். இந்த ஃபிலிமை வந்து எல்லாருக்கும் மெயின்லயோ எப்படி அனுப்ப முடியுமோ அனுப்பிச்சு விட்டுருங்க. ஆனால் இட் இஸ் ஹிஸ்டாரிக்கல் இது இருக்கு. அதில் நான் கொஞ்சம் ஆர்வம். அந்த ஹிஸ்டாரிக்கல் திங்ஸ் எல்லாம் நான் ஆராய்ச்சி பண்றது சேகரிக்கிறதுல ஒரு ஆர்வம். அதனால அந்த ஃபிலிம் எனக்கு கொஞ்சம் தேவைப்படுது. நான் கேட்கலான்னு நினைச்சிட்டு இருந்தேன். அது அவசியம் அதை கொடுத்துருவாங்க. இந்த தினேஷ் எப்படியோ அதே போல இந்த தீபா மேடம் அவங்கள்ட்ட நான் போனதான் பேசியிருந்தேன். இங்க ஏர்போர்ட்டுக்கு வந்து இதுக்கு வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் நேரம் பார்த்தேன். இங்க ஏர்போர்ட்டுக்கு வந்து எண்டாக்கு அப்புறம் தான் பார்த்தேன். வந்தவங்க நீங்க தானே தெரியல அப்படின்னா நீங்க யாருன்னு கேட்கலான்னு பார்த்தேன். குரலை வச்சு நானும் கண்டுபிடிச்சேன். இவங்க தான் தீபா. நீங்க எப்படி கேட்டீங்க? என்ன பார்த்து தெரியும், நான் குரல் எனக்கு தெரியும். அதனால இந்த ஆர்கனைசேஷன்ல அதாவது வண்டி உருண்டோட 2 சக்கரம் வேணும். அந்த 2 சக்கரமும் தினேஷும் தீபாவும். அந்த 2 சக்கரமும் சரியா இருக்கிறதா இந்த பக்கத்துல 2 அச்சாணி வேணும். ஒரு பக்கம் பிரின்சிபல் மேடம், ஒரு பக்கம் செல்வி மேடம். இந்த 2 அச்சாணியும் 2 சக்கரத்தையும் சரியா வழி நடத்தி. அதனால ஒரு எல்லாரும் இந்த ஆர்கனைசர்ஸ் டீம் போத் அகாடமிக் அண்ட் குளோபல் அகாடமிக் I am big salute to the organizers and I am heartfelt thanks in my other evergreen heroes and heroines of my life. ஏன்னா இவ்வளோ பெரிய பாலைவனத்தை கொண்டு வந்து இவ்வளோ பெரிய பில்டிங் கட்டுறத நான் படத்துல தான் பார்த்துருக்கேன். நேரடியாக கொண்டு காமிச்சு விடுறேன். அதனால அவங்களுக்கு வந்து என்றென்றும் நான் நன்றி கடன் பட்டிருக்கிறேன் என்பதை தெரிவித்துக் கொண்டு மேடம் சொன்னாங்க எல்லாத்தையும் சொல்றதுக்கு ஒண்ணுமே இல்லையான்னு. இன்னும் எனக்கு விட்டுறதுன்னா சொல்லுங்க, ஒரு சைக்கிள் காட்டுங்க, அதையும் சொல்லிடுறேன். ஏன் சொல்றேன்னா இன்னும் 3 நாள் எங்களை பத்திரமா நீங்க பாத்துக்கணும். நல்ல சாப்பாடு, இது வரைக்கும் நல்ல சாப்பாடு. தூக்கம் மட்டும்தான் இல்லை. நாங்க தூங்குறனாலும் பரவாயில்ல. ஊர்ல போய் நான் லீவை போட்டு மெடிக்கல் லீவ் போட்டு தூங்குவேன். ஒன்றும் கவலை இல்லை. எனக்கு நிறைய மெடிக்கல் இருக்கு, ஏன் லீவ் இருக்கு, சிஎல் அப்படியே வச்சிருக்கிறேன். இப்பயே வந்துட்டு ஸ்பெஷல் சிஎல்ல தான் அதனால நான் நிறைய தூங்குகிறேன். இந்த 3 நாளைக்கு நீங்க வந்து என்னென்னலாம் காமிக்க முடியுமோ அவ்வளோ படத்தையும் பிளேஸையும் காமிக்க அவ்வளோ இல்ல சார், என்ன சார், அதனால எல்லா இடத்தையும் காமிக்கும். மணி எக்ஸ்சேஞ்சிங் அவன் தான் பண்ணி கொடுத்தாரு. அதை விட பாருங்க, 1000 ரூபாய் நோட்டுங்கிறாரு, இன்னொன்று 300 இருக்காரு, என்னங்க வேலைன்னு இவ்வளோ வேலைங்கிறாரு. நம்ம வச்சுக்கிறேன் நாங்க இந்த செலவு பண்ணதான் வேண்டாம் மாதிரி இப்போ பயமா இருக்கு. இப்போதான் ஒரு ஆடிட் வந்து ஒரு நண்பருடைய 2 ஆடிட் வந்து சொன்னாரு. அதனால once again I thank to all organizers, both SP Jain and Global Academy, and I thank to all my colleagues and friends. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you so much, sir. You are great. Thanks. And people. And a person with multiple talents and potential. The person with multiple talents and potentialities, especially man of simplicity, man of politeness, man of humbleness, man of hard work, and a good leader, according to the quotes. Leadership is nothing but transforming the vision into reality. The man who has transformed the vision of various personalities as participants in this event into action and into the reality which took place is none other than the hero of this program, Mr. Dinesh. அவரை பற்றி நிறைய பேசினாங்க. நானும் இந்த ஒரு சில வார்த்தைகளை சொல்லி இந்த நிகழ்வு, இந்த ஒரு நாள் சர்வதேச கருத்தரங்கத்தினுடைய நிறைவு நிகழ்விலே நம்முடைய கருத்துக்களை பகிர்ந்து கொள்வதற்காக மிஸ்டர் தினேஷ் on the stage now.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. So normally எப்போதுமே எனக்கு எல்லா ப்ரோக்ராமுமே வந்து லாஸ்ட் செஷனு ஏற்கனவே சொல்லியிருக்கேன். 2 விஷயம் சொல்லிட்டு மைக் கொடுப்பாங்க. ஒன்று லஞ்ச் ரெடி ஆகிடுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, இல்லைன்னா டீ ரெடி ஆகிடுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. இப்போவும் டீ ஸ்நாக்ஸ் ரெடி ஆகிடுச்சு சார், சீக்கிரம் வந்துருக்கேன் சார். ஸோ அதனால் சீக்கிரம் முடிச்சுட்டு நமக்கு டைமும் இல்லை. இந்த ப்ரொஃபசர்ஸ் கான்ஃபரன்ஸ், மல்டிடிசிப்ளினரி கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் வந்து எனக்கு லைஃப் ஆம்பிஷன்ஸ் ஆல்சோ சொல்லுவேன். லைஃப்பில் 3 டீச்சர் என் லைஃப்பில் வந்து இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். எங்கள் அப்பா டீச்சரு, ஒரு இமோஷன் ஆகிடுறதா இருந்தது. இன்னொன்று வந்து என்னுடைய 11th ஹெட் மாஸ்டர் மிஸ்டர் ராஜமாணிக்கம் ஒரு பேர். அவர் மட்டும் இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் இது வரைக்கும் எந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸும் அவர் பற்றி சொன்னதில்லை. ஒரே ஒரு நாள் ஒரு விஷயம், அதை என் லைஃப்பில் இப்போ வரைக்கும் ஃபாலோ பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஒரு போர்டு வாங்க போனால் கூட போயிட்டு கூட ஒரு லீடர் அழைச்சிட்டு போயிட்டேன். நான் கிளாஸ் டீச்சர் இருக்கிறதுனால ஒரு பையனை கூட அழைச்சிட்டு போயிட்டேன். அவர் வந்து கேட்டாரு, எதுக்கு வந்தாங்க கேட்டாரு, இந்த மாதிரி போர்டு வாங்க கூட அந்த பையனை அழைச்சிட்டு வந்தாங்க, சும்மா ஒரு சப்போர்ட் இருக்காரு. அவன் போயிட்டான். என்ன ஒரு 2 மணி நேரம் நிற்க விட்டாரு. நிற்க விட்டுட்டு கடைசியாக சொன்னாரு, வாழ்க்கையில் எங்கே போனாலும் தனியாக போ, என்ன நடக்கும், தனியாக போகிறதுனால நீங்கள் அதிகமாக கூட நடக்கும், ஆனால் உன்னோட முடிஞ்சு போயிடும். கூட சேர்த்துட்டு போனோம்னா டபுள் டைம் நம்ம வருவோம், நல்லது நிறைய நடக்கும்னு சொன்னார். என்னால் வரைக்கும் மேக்ஸிமம் நான் தனியாக தான் ட்ராவல் பண்ணுவேன். எந்த விஷயத்தை தான் அந்த விஷயத்தை கம்ப்ளீட் பண்ணிக்கிறது தான் ஐ ஜாயின் வித் மை டீம். அதுக்கு மெயின் ரீசன் அந்த 11th கிளாஸ்லேயே நிறைய டீச்சர், அதுக்கப்புறம் அப்பா ரைட். இந்த வந்து கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் வந்து என்னோட ஆம்பிஷன் ஏன் சொன்னால், ஆல்வேஸ் நான் வந்து இந்த ப்ரொஃபஸ் கூட டச்சில் இருந்துகிட்டே இருக்கேன். இன்னைக்கு நான் சேவப் ஆகிறதுக்கு வந்து என்னோட டீச்சர்ஸ் தான். இப்போ நீங்கள் கிட்ட ஒரு 10 நிமிஷம் கொடுத்தா கூட ஒவ்வொரு கிளாஸ்லேருந்து ஒவ்வொரு டீச்சர்கிட்ட காப்பி அடிச்சிருக்கு. இன்னைக்கு வரைக்கும் தீபம் பண்ணிருக்கோம். நான் வந்து இந்த ஒவ்வொரு பாசிட்டிவ்ஸை என்னோட லைஃப்பில் வந்து இன்னும் வரைக்கும் இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ணிட்டு வந்துருக்கேன். ஷார்ட்டிங் பிரின்ஸ்பால் மேடம் எவ்வளோ தாண்டி என்னன்னா, இந்த கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் வந்து நல்லா சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல்லாக நடக்கிறதுக்கு அப்கோர்ஸ் நீங்கள் எல்லாமே என்கிட்ட சொல்லியிருக்கலாம். நான் தான் இதெல்லாம் பண்ணணுன்ட்டு ஒப்பனா சொல்லணும். அகாடமிக் ஒர்க்கு ஃபுல் அண்ட் ஃபுல் பண்ணது வந்து தீபா மேடம் தான். ஸோ வி ஹேவ் தேங்க் யூ அப்கோர்ஸ் பிரின்ஸ்பால் மேடம் ஆல்வேஸ் என்னோட தம்பிலாம் கூப்பிடுவாங்க, பண்ணிக்கிட்டே இருக்கு. ஸோ அவங்க கொடுக்குற சப்போர்ட். ஸோ இந்த அகாடமிக் கான்ஃபரன்ஸ்ன்றது சொல்றது வந்து நான் எடுத்த எய்ம் என்னன்றதை சொல்லிடுறேன். இந்த செஷனை முடிச்சிடறேன். எல்லாத்தையும் நான் ப்ரொஃபைல் கேட்டேன், கரெக்டுங்களா? ஐ யூஸ் டு ஆல்மோஸ்ட் 26 கண்ட்ரி. 26 கண்ட்ரியில் அஸ் ஆஃப் நவ் 11 கண்ட்ரியோட ப்ரொஃபஸர்ஸை ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் நான் மீட் பண்ணியிருக்கேன். அவங்க கேட்கறதுலாம் என்னன்னா, இந்தியாவிலேருந்து வரனா எதை பற்றி பேசுவாங்களோ இல்லையோ, நான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பேசுறது எஜுகேஷன் பற்றி தான் பேசுறேன். தேர் ஆஸ்கிங் அஸ் ஏ கெஸ்ட் லெக்சரர். 2011ல் எனக்கு கொடுத்த ஒரு ப்ரொபோசல் தான் இந்த மாதிரி கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் ஒன்றா இருக்கிறத நான் டிசைட் பண்ணேன். வேரியஸ் காலேஜ் தேர் ஆஸ்கிங் த ப்ரொஃபஸர் அஸ் ஏ கெஸ்ட் லெக்சரர். They want a student exchange program. They want us என்ன சொல்றது, கல்ச்சுரல் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் ப்ரோக்ராம் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ். இந்த மாதிரி தான் நிறைய யூனிவர்சிட்டிஸ் ஆஃபர் பண்ணுறாங்க. அதனால தான் உங்க ப்ரொஃபைல நான் சும்மா நான் அதிகமாக கேட்டு ப்ரொஃபைல் அனுப்புன்னு சொன்னது. அது எத்தனை பேர் அனுப்பிச்சுன்னு தெரியாது. மை ஹார்ட் இஸ் ஸ்பீக்கிங். இப்போ வரைக்கும் 2 காலேஜுக்கு 6 ப்ரொஃபைலை நான் ஃபாலோ பண்ணியிருக்கோம். ஜஸ்ட் 6 மாதத்துக்கு முன்னாடி வந்து ஒரு மெயில் அனுப்பிச்சிருக்கேன். எஸ்பி ஜெயின் காலேஜுக்கு ஒரு மெயில். ஸோ ப்ரொஃபஸர் லிஸ்ட். ஸோ இது ஏன் சொல்றேன்னா, we are creating the interlink between the colleges. We have the knowledges. அந்த knowledges ஒரு காலேஜுக்கு தேவைப்படுது. பர்டிகுலர்லி ஏஷியன் கண்ட்ரிஸ், வியட்நாம், கம்போடியா, லாவோஸ், இந்த மாதிரி கண்ட்ரில வந்து எஜுகேஷனுக்கு வந்து they are giving their first preference. அதுவும் இந்தியன் ப்ரொஃபஸர்ஸ். நீங்க ஃப்ரீ டைம்ல கிடைக்கும் போது ஏதாவது ஒரு வெப்சைட்ல காலேஜ்ல இருந்து ஒரு டெஸ்ட் சென்ட் மெயில் அனுப்புவாங்க. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய விஷயங்கள் பண்றதுக்காக தான் இன்டர்நேஷனல் கான்ஃபரன்ஸ். ஸோ பர்சனலி வந்து சிஇஓ கூப்பிட்டு பேசுறாரு. தேர் ஆல்சோ நெக்ஸ்ட் சம் மோர் ப்ரோக்ராம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணாங்க, லைக் எஜுகேஷன் ஓரியன்டா. ஸோ அதனால தான் இந்த மாதிரி கான்ஃபரன்ஸை பண்ணணுன்றது என்னோட பெரிய லைஃப் ஆம்பிஷனாக வச்சுருக்கேன். ஸோ இதுக்கு பண்ண ஸ்டாஃபிங் காலேஜ் எப்போதுமே வந்து காலேஜுக்காக கிடையாது. உள்ள போயிட்டாங்க நான் வந்து நிறைய பேருக்கு மீட் பண்ண வேண்டியிருக்காங்க. சைலண்டாக போய் சைலண்டாக வந்தது. அவ்வளோ பெரிய டீம் வந்து எனக்கு வந்து தீபா மேடம் எல்லாம் அந்த மாதிரி ஸோ அப்படி இருக்கு காலேஜ். ஸோ இத்தனை காலேஜ் ப்ரொஃபஸர்ஸ் எல்லாம் எல்லாம் மீட் பண்ணிட்டோம். கண்டிப்பாக ஏதாவது மீட் ஆடியோ காலேஜ் கூடிய சீக்கிரம் வந்து காலேஜ் வந்து பார்க்கணுன்றது ஆசை. ஓகேங்களா? ஸோ தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச். another 3 days வந்து forget about the conference. Okay, we have to enjoy the life. Sangamam is always giving the assurance golden memory of the life. ஓகேங்களா? 3 days அதான். Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dinesh, man of perseverance and very high positivity. Thank you for your wonderful sharing of your thoughts and ideas. தோல்வி அடைவதற்கு பல வழிகள் இருக்கலாம், ஆனால் வெற்றி பெறுவதற்கு ஒரே ஒரு வழி இருக்கிறது, அதுதான் உழைப்பு. உழைப்பை தன் தாரமன்றமாக தன்னுடைய வாழ்க்கையை எடுத்துக்கொண்டு இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை சிறப்பாக நடத்தி கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியுடைய கதாநாயகி it's none other than Dr. S.P. Deepa Madam. For the past few months and past few days, she is working very tirelessly for conducting this program very effectively along with Mr. Dinesh. May I take this opportunity to request Dr. S.P. Deepa, the faculty of the institution, to share her vote of thanks. Madam, please.
Thank you so much, sir. Time ஆயிடுச்சு தெரியும். பட் vote of thanks சொல்லணும் அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து என்னோட ஆசை. பிகாஸ் எல்லாருமே சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தாங்க academic work is taken care of by me அப்படின்னு. பட் it is not a one woman or a one man army. நான் சொல்லும் பொழுது நீங்களும் ஷிஃப்டா ரிப்ளை பண்ணீங்க. ஸோ ஐ ஹேவ் an array of people to thank. ஜெனரலா நான் தேங்க் பண்ண விரும்பல. பிகாஸ் எவ்ரிபடி இண்டிவிஜுவலி, பிகாஸ் எனக்கு தெரியும் most of the people who did work did for ST Deepa, not for anybody else. இது பண்ணணுங்கிறதுக்காக இல்லை, மேம் கேட்குறாங்க பண்ணணும், மேம் கேட்குறாங்க பண்ணணும், நிறைய காரியங்கள் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. So I just want to thank. ஒரு 2 minutes time கொடுங்க. Kindly pardon me if I am emotional. Thank you so much, and I would like to start my formal vote of thanks. Good evening to all present here. It's my honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks. August Gathering. First and foremost, I thank my Lord Almighty for giving me this opportunity of exploring new arena in my professional career of conducting an international multidisciplinary conference outside my campus and in Dubai. I am grateful to our father
General Secretary of Sri S.S. Jain Educational Society, Sri Abhay Kumar Shishrimal sir, who always gives me opportunities to explore the unexplored. My thanks are due to our Secretary Srimati Usha Abhay Kumar and our Associate Secretary Dr. Hanishan Mehta for their constant support and guidance. I thank our Principal Dr. S. Bharmavati and Vice Principal Dr. S. Rukmani for their support and guidance. You all have witnessed the support I received from my principal. I thank the management of SP Jain School of Global Management for collaborating with us and giving us a good venue to share our research findings. I am thankful to Mr. Dinesh Kumar, CEO of Sangamam Global Academy, for organizing and collaborating with us for this conference. One best part of both of us life is I didn't interfere in his travel affairs and neither he interferes in academic hours. We were drawing the line very clearly that academic work will be taken care of only by the academician and the travel partner has to take care of the travel. Thank you so much, Mr. Dinesh, for such collaboration. I thank all the participants who have come here, who have presented their papers online and watching all of us in YouTube live. Thank you so much. Without your paper presentation, without your research findings, this conference is not possible. Thank you so much, and all the professors here were so obliging, despite they are elder to me, they were so obliging to me and responding to me for all the queries I asked. I was a bit conscious about the plagiarism, so whenever I was asked to rewrite their papers when the plagiarism a bit more than what I expect, all the professors without any hesitation did the same. Thank you so much for all your support, and that makes me understand that how research oriented you academicians are. Thank you so much, and I salute you for all the support rendered to me. So we had 50 papers in the domain of history, education, economics, computer science, and from papers from the countries like Nepal, Oman, Malaysia, and Dubai, and the states of India. I would like to thank my administrative team, training team, technical team, and facility team of Chandanlal Sundarbai Shashwat Jain College. I don't know how many of you know our inauguration and the valedictory and online presentation there on Zoom and in the YouTube live of our institution. So the technical team is working from Chennai for the conference which is happening in Dubai. Thank you so much, and I would like to thank you persons in the technical team and administrative team, Ms. Kavishna, who is meticulously doing the work and online thing, Ms. Vanita, who designed the book cover page and the brochure, Ms. Priya, Ms. Kim, and Ms. Deepya, who are the members of the training team, who replies to me swiftly and they work around the clock even in the absence of me. So I thank the entire training team who have been a backbone to me, and I thank Mr. Shankar for all their support for smooth conduct of this conference. And I am standing here not as ST Deepa but as a team of training, technical and facility team, and I would like to thank all the participants for that. Last but not the least, I thank my family members, especially my husband Mr. David John and my son Master D. John Theodore, for their personal and professional support. I was a bit hesitant in thanking my family, but I could do it courageously because you were witnessing the support they have rendered to me, may it be my husband or my son, rendering to me during this conference. Thank you so much, and if God willing, we will try to meet once in an academic year. Looking forward, anytime in the group or in your mailbox, you can have the brochure of International Multidisciplinary Conference 2023 soon. Thank you so much. Let us all rise up for the national anthem.
Thank you so much.